Map the debt, how dopamine debt hijacks focus. Before we build the full system, you need the map. Dopamine debt is simple in shape and brutal in effect. Overstimulation all day lowers baseline reward, raises craving and threat, and turns tomorrow's start into a cliff. Stanford addiction psychiatrist Lembke calls it the pleasure-pain balance. Chase frequent spikes, notifications, novelty, urgency, and the seesaw tilts. After enough excess, you enter a dopamine deficit state. Baseline drops, ordinary work feels flat, and the fastest relief becomes escape. Here's what that looks like across 24 hours. Morning autopilot. You wake, check your phone, and grab 3 microhits before your feet hit the floor. Just seeing what I missed teaches your nervous system that scanning comes before starting. Midday microhits, pings, tab switches, quick checks deliver tiny spikes followed by tiny troughs. Each trough makes the next spike more tempting. Afternoon compensation. Fatigue lands, so you swipe the card again, caffeine, feed, inbox roulette to manufacture a second wind. By evening, the statement closes. Low baseline, high irritability, high craving. Night is where the debt shows its teeth. Wakefulness during the habitual sleep period shifts neurochemistry. Research on nocturnal wakefulness shows worse mood and impaired regulation of negative affect. Sleep loss also downregulates dopamine D2-D3 receptor availability in ventral striatum, which messes with reward signaling and judgment. Translation: if you're awake late, your brain is primed for rumination, urgency, and bad calls, scrolling for relief, late-night work to catch up, and 2 a.m. math about how little sleep you'll get if you fall asleep right now. The thing most people miss is relief learning. Your nervous system updates from fastest relief, not best outcome. If scrolling delivers a reliable 10-second exhale, your body will vote for it automatically next time. That's negative reinforcement. Remove discomfort, strengthen the behavior. Over days, avoidance becomes your default analgesic. You're not procrastinating because you don't care. You're procrastinating because your prediction engine believes not starting will feel better faster. Zoom in on the mechanics. Under chronic novelty and micro-urgency, threat circuits get louder. Amygdala up, prefrontal control down. Options narrow. You stop seeing gradients, it's perfect or pointless. Starts feel heavier because they now carry identity weight. If I begin and it's bad, I confirm the critic. So you stall, feel a moment of relief, and pay with a louder critic later. That's the hidden interest on dopamine debt. Short relief now, compounded shame and friction tomorrow. Let me show you the day as a ledger. Morning, you spend attention on quick checks. Noon, you borrow with context switching. Afternoon, you swipe again, chasing alertness. Evening, you're in the red, low baseline, high craving. At night, your brain tries to rebalance but instead overproduces worry to self-stimulate. You're tired but wired, reaching for novelty that never satisfies because the system is depleted and the filter that normally says, "this can wait," is offline. 2 clarifications keep this grounded. First, novelty isn't the villain. Novelty is a natural drive. The problem is unmanaged input density plus no off-ramp. Second, you don't need an extreme detox to fix this. You need a rhythm that pays down what you spend and a reflex that relocates relief into motion on command. Now tie it back to the reset you just ran. Why did 1 minute help? Because it flipped the contingency. Instead of escape right arrow relief, you taught start right arrow relief. The longer exhale pressed the parasympathetic brake. Alternating left-right stimulation reduced limbic noise and widened options so the prefrontal cortex could choose a next move. Stopping on time protected trust, so your body didn't learn, a minute means a marathon. That trust is the currency that buys tomorrow's clean start. Identity erosion is the long-term cost if you ignore the debt. Every avoided start becomes evidence for a story. I'm behind. Repeat it and your goals quietly shrink, not from lack of ambition, but from your nervous system trying to avoid pain. Flip the contingency consistently and the identity shifts too. I start small, I reset fast, I stop clean. Here's the 1-sentence map to keep. Overstimulation tilts the pleasure-pain balance, creating a deficit state that raises craving and threat. Avoidance becomes fastest relief. Identity erodes 1 missed start at a time. The lever is tiny, safe motion that your body will trust, repeated until relief reliably lives in action. Once you see the map, you stop asking for more willpower and start fixing the system. Next, we'll build a daily 24-hour reset that protects your morning approach, lowers midday friction, and clears the night backlog so the debt pays down while you live your life. The grind isn't the answer. Clean, trustworthy starts are. System, if greater than willpower, reframe. Let's put this on the table. We're fixing the system, not your character. If try harder worked, you wouldn't be here. Pressure spikes threat, your amygdala takes the wheel, and prefrontal control thins out. You burn glucose fighting yourself before you've taken a meaningful action. That's why those heroic grind days end with nothing left for tomorrow. Now here's where most people mess up. They turn "I need a better plan" into "I need to be tougher." The inner critic gets loud. You should have done more, you're already behind. That heat narrows options. Your brain stops seeing gradients and flips to perfect or pointless. Avoidance feels safer than a risky first step, so avoidance wins. The better move is coach over critic. The critic speaks in global, moral language, always, never, must. That spikes threat and freezes choice. The coach speaks in present tense action with low stakes. Right now, open the dock. That tone matters because it drops arousal just enough for your thinking brain to take the next tiny step. The overlooked performance lever is language. Here's the swap deck. Always, never becomes right now. I always blow this flips to right now, write one rough line. Perfect becomes possible. It has to be perfect becomes what's a possible first sentence? Finish becomes start. Finish the report becomes start the report for 60 seconds. Say those out loud. Feel how the second versions shrink the threat and hand you a handle. Actually, let me make the boundary explicit, because this keeps the system humane. I choose to because just 60 seconds. Choice lowers threat, because ties action to a value you believe. Just 60 seconds caps the cost. Together, that sentence prevents scope creep and stops you from turning starts into traps. Why try harder fails is simple biology. Under pressure, your brain prioritizes scanning for danger, not focused work. You spend attention managing discomfort and self-judgment, attention you can't spend on the first move. The way out isn't more force, it's less friction. Shrink the task, lighten the tone, and make the first minute so safe your body says yes before your critic can talk. Quick micro story, a product manager kept declaring catch-up days. By noon, she was color-coding folders, not shipping specs. We switched the script. At each start, she said, I choose to ship one ugly bullet because it unblocks UX. Just 60 seconds. Timer, one bullet. Stop. Want one more? Most times, yes. The win wasn't volume, it was a system that didn't punish starts. Build the frame around 3 prompts that cut fog in under 10 seconds. What's the next sentence? What's easy now? What's 60 seconds? When the critic shows up with time distortion, this will take forever, the coach replies, 60 seconds, then decide. Identity smear, you're not the kind of person who follows through meets, right now, start anyway. Let actions decide identity. Catastrophe preview, if it isn't perfect, it's ruined meets, possible beats perfect. One messy line. Tone isn't syrupy, you don't need hype. Think calm paramedic, precise, kind, actionable, mouth to ear beats rumination. Say it out loud. Hearing right now, open the dock, roots around the spin cycle and cues motion. You might be thinking, won't small starts make me soft? No, small starts make you consistent. Consistency builds identity. Identity drives future choices. Once your nervous system trusts that starts are safe and stops are respected, you'll choose longer sessions without the crash. The system scales itself. Let's test it together. Whisper, I choose to because just 60 seconds. Fill your because with anything honest, clarity, momentum, unblocking a teammate. Now the coach line, right now, what's the next sentence? Breathe out slightly longer. Timer on, move, ding, stop. Want one more? Your choice counts either way. If you remember nothing else from this section, remember this. Willpower fights biology. Systems recruit it. Use coach language, lock the boundary with, I choose to, just 60 seconds, and make starts so small they slip under your threat radar. Once you nail that, everything else clicks because every day now has a reliable door back into motion. The 24-hour reset, daily debt recovery. We're going to build one simple day that pays the debt down as you go. 4 anchors run the loop: morning approach, midday friction audit, afternoon slump rescue, and night calm. One identity line threads through all of it. I start small, I reset fast, I stop clean. Morning first. You've got a short window after waking when approach motivation is easiest. Protect it. Before bed, set a one-tap anchor to your very first action, a direct shortcut to the exact file, a pin tab, or a start script. TXT with your line pre-written, I'm not behind, I'm in a reset. Just 60 seconds. Right now, I'm going to. When you wake, no scanning. Sit, whisper the line, breathe out a beat longer, open the one tap, and run 160-second start with gentle left-right taps. Ding. Stop. Ask, do I want one more minute? Decide. That single minute moves relief into motion before inputs steal your morning. Now wire a mid-morning glide. Tie a micro reset to something you already do, after coffee, after you open your calendar, or right after the first meeting. Run one more 60 seconds, start on your priority lane. If you stall, use the 3 coach prompts. What's the next sentence? What's easy now? What's 60 seconds? Keep it dirty and small. Stop at the ding. You've banked 2 clean starts by late morning without needing a motivation surge. Midday is where friction multiplies debt, so run a 2-minute friction audit over lunch. Write your top 3 afternoon starts. Under each, list the first 2 steps you always fumble. Remove 2 clicks or decisions now. Examples: create a direct bookmark to the exact doc, pin the Today view in your task app, pre-write 1 subject line. If your tools allow it, pair a 60-second focus mode to that file so notifications silence automatically on open. We're shrinking the wall your afternoon self will face. Set a standing 2:15 alarm labeled Recognize Right Arrow Reset. When it pings, run TTFA in 10 seconds. Trigger thought, feeling, action. Trigger post-lunch fog. Thought, I'm behind. Feeling, heavy eyes. Action, scroll. Say, I'm in a reset. Exhale longer, name 1 tiny move, set 1 minute, add left-right taps, move, ding, stop, reassess. That 2-minute ritual reliably flips the afternoon from reaction to approach. Add the checkpoint rule so resets don't become stealth marathons. After 3 resets on the same task, pause and choose. Continue for a planned block, schedule a longer session, or stop for today. This protects tomorrow's start by keeping scope honest. Evening is the cognitive offload that clears the ledger. 2 minutes, 3 lists. Done, name 3 wins, even tiny ones. Worried, capture open loops your brain keeps chewing. Can wait, park anything that isn't for tonight. Then drop 1 bold next line into tomorrow's file while context is warm. Next, 1 ugly sentence on the intro. That single sentence lowers threat for morning you and makes the first inch obvious. Now the device sunset. Pick a last check time and honor it. If you can, park your phone outside the bedroom or use airplane mode with a dumb alarm. Cue calm by design, paperback on your pillow, pen on the nightstand, a low arousal playlist started before you enter the room. Remove novelty from reach so your nervous system downshifts. Night calm closes the loop. Aim for bed before your late evening cortisol bump. If you wake at 2 a.m., don't negotiate with the feed. Use the micro SOS, 2 longer exhales, label thoughts with I'm having the thought that, then visualize tomorrow's first 60-second start, open the doc, type 1 ugly line, hear the ding. If sleep doesn't return within 10 minutes, sit in low light with a calm paperback, then back to bed when sleepy. Thread the identity line through the day so your body learns the rhythm. Morning, I start small. Midday, I reset fast. Evening, I stop clean. Put it on your lock screen or a desk sticky. Under pressure, identity beats intention. Let me stitch it into a sample day. Wake, no scroll, open the 1 tap, 1 minute with taps, stop. Coffee, 2nd minute on a different lane. Lunch, friction audit, remove 2 steps from each priority start, verify focus mode. 2:15, recognize reset, TTFA, 1 minute, ding, decide. Mid-afternoon, checkpoint after 3 resets on 1 task. Evening, 3 lists plus 1 bold next line, phone parked, lights down. If you're at 0 checks late, run a 30-second floor reset. 1 ugly word, 5 wall push-ups, or a single subject line, check the box, sleep. You're not chasing perfect days. You're running a rhythm that pays down the debt while you live your life. 1 tap, 1 sentence, 1 minute, ding. The fastest relief now lives in motion, not escape. And once your nervous system trusts that promise, clean starts stop feeling rare and start feeling automatic. Environment beats motivation because it decides how many tiny decisions sit between you and motion. When the path is obvious and short, your threat system stays quiet and the critic has less time to talk. Our job is simple. Make every priority start 1 tap or less. Begin with the 1 tap rule. Any priority should launch straight into the exact thing, not an app homepage. Create direct shortcuts, a desktop alias to the specific doc, a browser bookmark that opens the report template, a phone widget that lands on today, not inbox. If you can shave 2 clicks, do it. 2 clicks saved daily turns into dozens of decisions you never spend. Run a quick friction audit. Grab your top 3 starts. For each, list the first 3 actions it currently takes. Open browser, search drive, navigate folders. Remove 2. Pin the file. Rename it so it sorts to the top. Start Q3 report today. Keep the real title in the document itself. You're not optimizing for speed, you're optimizing for certainty. When the first move is visible, your 60-second reset fires cleanly. Anchor spots come next. Decide where each kind of work begins and pre-stage those spaces. Writing anchor, chair, water, headphones, and the doc shortcut dead center. Finance anchor, notebook, calculator, banking bookmark. Study anchor, textbook open to the first definition you plan to highlight. Add a trigger object at each spot, a sticky that reads reset. Breathe, name 1 minute. Under threat, you don't want to invent, you want to execute. Build a tiny start script, TXT into your desktop. At the top right, I'm not behind, I'm in a reset. Just 60 seconds. Right now, I'm going to leave the blank. Each session, fill it with the smallest visible action. This removes the need to craft language when you're tense and lets your hands move first. Use focus modes tied to apps. When you launch your writing doc, notifications silence for 1 minute automatically. Full screen the task window. Park your phone face down behind your monitor or in a drawer. You're not banning anything forever. You're shaping a 1-minute window where nothing competes with the start. Pre-stage tomorrow's first inch today. End a session by leaving 1 bold line. Next, write 1 ugly sentence on the intro. For email, draft 1 subject line and save. For fitness, place shoes and water by the door. Pre-staging turns tomorrow's reset into a downhill roll. Name files for action. Make active files impossible to miss. Start today task EIMMDD. On mobile, create a home screen shortcut with that name. When your eyes land on start, you stop scanning and start moving. Kill invisible blockers. Identify your top 3 derailers, phone, snack trips, Slack pings, and make them invisible for 1 minute. Phone parked behind the monitor. Snacks out of reach. Slack on Do Not Disturb tied to your writing app. We're carving tiny threat-free on ramps, not policing your whole day. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Launcher muscle memory. Assign a single keystroke to your top task. Command-Shift-1 opens today's writing file. Practice it until your fingers move before your critic speaks. Motor memory beats mood. Beware organizing as avoidance. If your setup takes more than a minute to activate the first action, it's too heavy. 1 document, 1 shortcut, 1 script. Fancy can come later. For now, you need starts. Category docs help jugglers. Keep a thin launcher file per lane with the top 3 one-tap links and 1 next line under each. Open the lane, click the exact task, run your minute. No rummaging. Now a micro story. A student spent 20 minutes finding the weekly report template, got pinged twice, and restarted. We created a 1-tap doc that opened with the cursor on the first line, pinned start script, TXT beside it, and tied a 1-minute focus mode to that file. Next week, her start time fell from 20 minutes to 2. Same brain, less friction. Run a 5-point environment checklist right now. 1-tap rule. Create 3 direct shortcuts to exact files. Friction audit. Remove 2 steps from each of your top 3 starts. Anchor spots. Pre-stage tools and place your reset sticky. Focus tie-in. Set a 60-second silence linked to your task app. Pre-stage tomorrow. Leave 1 bold next line in the file. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Make the first inch effortless. 1 tap, 1 sentence, 1 minute. When the path to action is visible and near, your nervous system says yes sooner. Pair that with your 60-second reset and coach line, and you've built a runway that makes starts feel inevitable. Once starts are inevitable, output becomes a side effect.